Hi, this is Nancy at Notions Marketing, and we have a couple of really exciting things to show you today, mostly from the Gemini. The Gemini is the machine from Crafter's Companion. Now, when my friend Jen came about 6 months ago, she showed us the Build-A-Block Plus series. I want to show you a little bit about how that works and some of the things that I've done with it. So the quilt behind me, I designed in Electric Quilt. So this is what it looks like when you design in Electric Quilt, which is a really fabulous computer program for creating quilts. So I went into my Electric Quilt and I just found blocks that had the elongated triangles or the isosceles triangles, and that's a really big word. So I found some blocks that had that, and then went down into my studio, and using my Gemini Build-A-Block and the Build-A-Block Plus, I was able to create the blocks that you see on the quilt behind me. So the first Build-A-Block was this one that came with the quarter square triangles, the half square triangles, and the squares. And with that Build-A-Block set, I was able to create this quilt and many more. I've really had a really nice time using especially the quarter square triangles and the half square triangles. They're so precise. So this is just a little part of a quilt that I used the fabrics that I had painted. So using the gel press and Dilutions paints and stencils, I had created all of these fabrics, and you can find that video on the Notions Marketing YouTube channel. So that was one of the first ones I made. Then when Jen brought to us the Build-A-Block Plus series, it opens a whole new world. So the Build-A-Block Plus will come with rectangles, triangles, so these are isosceles triangles, and the half square rectangles that go on the side of the isosceles triangles, okay? So I'm going to pull this one out. You see that all the sizes are there. They really stack up beautifully too. So now in my studio, this is how this looks on my table. So it's always very handy. So I want you to notice that the plates look very, very beat up. It's okay. It's almost like the more they're beat up, the better they work, especially the metal plates. So I've taken and folded this fabric 4 times. So this is where my rectangle sides will be. And then here is my isosceles triangle. And that again is 4 layers. Oftentimes I do 8 layers of fabric. Then that's going to go into my Gemini. Now you can also, before this starts, let me tell you, you can use the Gemini Junior for these also, okay? So there's many options. As it goes through, it's going to make some sounds. Don't be afraid of the sounds. When it's making those sounds, that really truly just means it's working. So here they come off. So there's my triangles, all cut 4 of them. And I do need to cut 4 more of these. So I'm just going to flip it around. I do flip my little mats as I go. So I'll take this and scooch him way down here so I'm not wasting any fabrics. And then it goes in. And it takes it in automatically. You don't have to start anything. You just get it in there and it knows that it's there. It is so powerful. It oftentimes cuts through 8 layers of fabric, and I'll put 5 or 6 different dyes on the plate at the same time. So now I have the fabrics cut for my isosceles triangle blocks. There we go. Next, I'm going to show you the new machine from Gemini. It's a sewing machine. I'm really excited about the new introduction into the Gemini family, and that is their little sewing machine. It's the L100. It has, I don't know, 30-some stitches on it. It can do buttonholes. It comes with all the necessary accessories for doing buttonholes, the zipper foot, the free motion darning foot, all the bobbins, the tools, a really nice instruction manual too. So it is a small little machine, but I found it has some really nice features. One of them being the needle threader. So that's what this little guy here is. This is the needle threader to help you with your needle threading. It also can move the needle to the right or to the left. So if you're a quilter, you know that you need a scant 1/4 inch. On this machine, I can move the needle right to where I want it to find my scant 1/4 inch. I thought that was rather impressive too. And this is very impressive. So if I take my piece of fabric and I start sewing through just 2 layers of fabric. Now I'm going to fold up and sew 4 layers of fabric. Now I'm going to fold up and sew on 8 layers of fabric. It really has no problem going through. Put the right needle in, of course, and you can sew through these heavier, thicker fabrics. And because Gemini is a mixed media type company, of course they got their start in the paper crafts, you can sew through paper and you can add decorative stitches to your paper crafting also. So let's go back to what we were working on earlier from our Build-A-Block. So with our Build-A-Block, here is the block. This is our isosceles triangle. Let me move some supplies out of the way. And what's so nice is that when these fold onto each other, do you see how the tips are pre-cut? So I know I need to sew from that corner to that corner to get my perfect seam allowance. I have this machine all set up for doing some quilt piecing now. So I was able to move my needle over, so I've got a nice scant 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I put my leader fabric in there. Now I take these pieces and they just line up beautifully with the little blunt ends, and I'll just sew from the corner to the corner. Petal, there it is. And there is a thread cutter right on the side. I did not bring my ironing board, so I will just finger press this. And here's for my next one. Again, lining it up from side to side. And I always do like to put a pin when I'm sewing on those. Start with my leader fabric. And sew right on it. So there you have it, a really nice isosceles triangle. And because all of the points are cut off using the Gemini and those dies, it goes together really, really easily. I also did like the rectangle dies that come in the Build-A-Block Plus. With those, I took all of the scraps left over from the quilt that I was making, and I took those scraps, laid them all down, and just laid down many of the different sizes of rectangles. So I was able to get a really cool scrappy setting square for this quilt. And then I also used it for the setting triangles. Here's just a few of the blocks that I made using the Build-A-Block Plus and the Gemini Build-A-Block. You can find all of these under the Gemini on the Notions marketing website. I think you'll really have a good time designing with the new Build-A-Block Plus series.